Okay.
Good morning, sir.
See here. First, buoyancy. What do you mean by buoyancy? So see here, it is the property of the liquid. Buoyancy is the property of the liquid by which it is the property of the liquid by which it applies an upward force. It applies an upward force on a body when body is submerged or immersed in a liquid. This is clear. This is the property of the liquid. And this upward force is called as buoyant force or upthrust. Okay. And this upthrust we denote with F with subscript B, FB. So this is our upthrust. This force being applied, this is upthrust. Okay. Now see here. Here upthrust is being applied when body is completely immersed, either this way or in this fashion. Okay. When body completely immersed, that is when it is completely inside the liquid, then the upthrust applied is maximum upthrust, and that we denote with FB dash. Okay. These three notations you must remember. Weight of the body, W. Weight of the body, W. Weight of the body, W. Okay. And upthrust applied is FB. Okay. We denote with FB. Okay. And when it is completely immersed, maximum upthrust will be applied. Maximum upthrust will be applied when it is completely immersed. That is FB dash. This is the limit of the upthrust. Maximum upthrust that can be applied. Okay. These three notations, just remember. Now see here. Okay, now we'll be proving one mathematical formula. That is, upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. Upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. Okay. So now see here, we are taking one beaker, fill it with liquid. Okay. Now, one cylinder we are taking PQRS, and let's its cross section area be A. Area of cross section, let it be A. Okay. Its area of cross section is A. Now see here, we already studied in liquid. There is a pressure. Okay. Around this point, there is pressure on all sides. Around this point, there is pressure on all sides, and it is same. Okay. In a horizontal plane, the pressure is same. But vertically, as we move down, as the depth increases, pressure increases. As the depth increases, pressure increases. So on the sides, see here, on the sides, the pressure is there. The force exerted, that will cancel each other. They will be opposite. But on the top side, there will be pressure P1. The liquid applies downward force, and then due to pressure P1. And let it be at the depth of H1. Okay. And here, force applied will be F1. Understood? Similarly, on the bottom part, there will be upward force, upthrust due to pressure P2, and this will be force will be applied, upthrust will be F2. Okay. And this is at the depth of H2. This is at the depth of H2. So first we'll be considering the face PQ. On this area, PQ. So pressure on here will be P1 will be how much? H1, and let the density of the liquid be rho. So pressure is H rho G. So depth is H1, H rho G. This rho is the density of the liquid. This is the pressure of P1 and up downward thrust. It is in the downward direction. So downward thrust. That is F1. It will be how much? Pressure is what? Force upon area. Thrust upon area. So force, that is thrust, equal to pressure into area. So H1 into A. Area of cross section is this one. So force up downward thrust will be F1 into A rho G. Okay, this is our first equation. Okay, downward thrust in downward direction. Now F2 will be deriving. So here P2 will be how much? P2 is how much? H2 rho G. Depth is H2. H2 rho G. Okay. Now F2 will be how much? That is upward thrust. Upward thrust. Upward thrust will be how much? Pressure into area. Area of cross section is A. So it will be H2 A rho G. This is our second equation. Okay. Now the resultant force. In which direction it will be? See here, P2 is more than P1. As the depth increases, pressure increases. P2 is more than P1. So F2 will be more than F1. Since H2 is more than H1. F2 will be more than H1. So resultant thrust, it will be in upward direction. Resultant thrust, it will be in upward direction. So upthrust, we can write it as upthrust by the liquid. It will be how much? F2 minus F1. F2 minus F1 we can write. It will be in upward direction. Therefore, upthrust. Okay. H2 A rho G minus H1 A rho G. Okay, take rho G common. What will be and A common? It will be H2 minus H1 into A into rho G. H2 minus H1 is height of the cylinder. So height into area. What we are getting? Volume of the cylinder. So upthrust is how much? Volume of the cylinder into rho, density of the liquid into G. This is clear? Okay. So upthrust, I'm writing FB as upthrust here. Okay. FB is what? Volume. That is, we can write volume of the cylinder. See here. Volume of the liquid displaced is same as the volume of the cylinder. Yes or no? How much volume this cylinder has displaced is same as the volume of the cylinder. So we can write volume of liquid displaced. And here, since cylinder is completely immersed inside the liquid, volume of the liquid displaced is same as the volume of the cylinder into density of liquid into acceleration due to gravity. Okay. Now see here, volume of the liquid displaced into density of the liquid. What is this? Density equal to mass upon volume. Mass equal to density into volume. So we can write FB as mass of the liquid displaced. These are very important. Mass of the liquid displaced. Volume of the liquid displaced into density of the liquid is mass of the liquid displaced into G. And mass into acceleration due to gravity is what? Weight. So FB is what? Upthrust is weight of the liquid displaced. Weight of liquid displaced. This we have to prove. So upthrust is how much? Upthrust is equal to weight of the liquid displaced. It means whatever liquid this solid has displaced, this body has displaced, that is equal to the upthrust. So upthrust applied on this body is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. This you have to remember. This is Archimedes principle. We will be discussing Archimedes principle now. So buoyant force or the upthrust is equal to weight of the liquid displaced. Okay, understood? Just go through it once. Go through the derivation, page number 105. Reason for upthrust we have discussed. Because of pressure, difference in pressure as depth increases, pressure increases. Because of that, upthrust comes into existence. Okay, that is the reason. And go through the mathematical proof. So what are the factors which affects the upthrust? It is the volume of the liquid displaced. If volume of the liquid displaced increases, if volume of the liquid displaced increases, upthrust increases, and density of the liquid. That is, if the density increases, upthrust will increase. Upthrust will increase. And see here, whatever shape of the body is there, whatever shape of the body is immersed in the liquid, it doesn't matter. What matters is just the volume of the body. That is, volume of the liquid displaced. It doesn't matter whatever shape of the body is there. We have considered cylinder. It can be stone or any irregular shape. It depends only on the volume of the liquid displaced. That means how much volume of the liquid the body is displacing. So it depends on these factors: volume of the liquid displaced, density of the liquid, and acceleration due to gravity. Have you understood this one? This is very important because rest of the chapter depends on this formula. This is clear? Okay, factors affecting the upthrust we have discussed. Archimedes principle we discussed. Okay, first we discuss one thing. Okay, see here. Liquid we have. This is the body submerged. Okay. Now here see here. Upthrust is being there. Upthrust FPI, right, equal to volume of the liquid displaced into density of the liquid into acceleration due to gravity. Now here what will be the volume of the liquid displaced? Only this much part of the body is submerged. So volume of the submerged portion is same as the volume of the liquid displaced. Whatever volume of the submerged or immersed part of the body, that is same as the volume of the liquid displaced here. Understood this one? This will be the buoyant force. So if small v is the volume of the, consider capital V as the volume of the complete body of the body, whereas V is the only of the submerged part. Vs I write. Okay, Vs is the volume of the submerged part of the body. So here buoyant force will be how much? This will be the buoyant force. This will be the buoyant force only. Volume of the submerged part only. Volume of the submerged part into density of the liquid into G. This is weight of the liquid displaced. This is same as the weight of the liquid displaced. So volume of the liquid displaced is same as the volume of the submerged part of the body. And submerged part of the body is only Vs. Therefore, volume of the liquid displaced is also Vs. This Vs is smaller than V. V is volume of the body, that is of the full body. Okay, this is our buoyant force. Now consider the second case when body is completely immersed. At this time, the submerged volume is same as full volume, complete volume. So here buoyant force will be how much, or the upthrust will be how much? Capital V into rho into G. And this will be the maximum buoyant force it can be applied, the liquid can apply. The volume of the body is same as the volume of the liquid displaced. And this will be the maximum buoyant force. You can see as well. The smaller Vs, it is less than capital V. This is complete volume, full volume of the body. This is just submerged part of the volume. So see here, as the submerged part is increasing, as body is getting more and more immersed, this volume increases. It increases till it becomes capital V. So as body is there, as it is submerging more and more inside the liquid, the buoyant force will be increasing, and it becomes maximum when it is completely immersed. Now, whether it's here or here or here, the maximum amount of buoyant force that can be applied is this much only. Okay. So, whether here, anywhere, as it gets completely submerged, that is the maximum limit of the buoyant force that the liquid can apply. Okay. This you understood? Buoyant force, maximum buoyant force. Okay. Buoyant force is submerged part of the body that is same as the volume of the liquid displaced, how much liquid it is displacing. It is more submerging, it means it is displacing more liquid. Okay. And when it is completely immersed, it becomes equal to the volume of the body, and this is the limit of the buoyant force that the liquid can apply on the body. Okay. So now what do we mean by Archimedes principle? Archimedes principle, Archimedes says that when a body is partially or completely immersed, when a body is immersed partially or completely, the upward force, the upthrust will be equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. The upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. Here upthrust is equal to the, this much is only the volume displaced. So weight of the liquid displaced, this much volume. And here weight of the liquid displaced, this much. Okay. This is the maximum limit when it is completely immersed. Okay. As body is getting more and more immersed inside the liquid, the upthrust increases and it becomes maximum when it is completely immersed. This is clear? Archimedes principle is clear? Is this clear? Any doubt you have?
So once more, can you explain this?
Okay, what you haven't understood, can you tell? Okay, see here, buoyant force, what was the formula of buoyant force? V into rho into G. V was what? Volume of the body. Okay, we have considered when it is completely immersed, for example. Okay, so V is the volume of the body. Rho is the density of liquid into acceleration due to gravity. Or we can write it like this: V volume of the body is same as the volume of the liquid displaced. When we immerse the body, it displaces the volume, it displaces the amount of water equal to its volume. So we can write it as volume of the liquid into density of the liquid into acceleration due to gravity. Volume of the liquid into density of the liquid is equal to mass of the liquid. Mass of liquid into acceleration due to gravity, it will be weight of the liquid. So buoyant force that is applied is equal to weight of the liquid. That is, what is the weight of the liquid displaced? So buoyant force is equal to weight of liquid displaced. That is, how much weight of the liquid the water is displacing. That is, some amount of water a body is displacing, and what is the weight of that displaced liquid? That is equal to the buoyant force. That is the buoyant force. Buoyant force is weight of the liquid displaced. Whatever amount of water the body has displaced, that its weight will be equal to the buoyant force applied by the water. This is clear? So buoyant force is weight of the liquid displaced. This you have to remember. So buoyant force is V rho G. That is weight of the liquid displaced. Here only this much volume is displaced. So only this much volume is displaced. So whatever weight of this much water, only this much water, what is the weight of this much water? That is the amount of buoyant force applied on this body. Here, what is the weight of amount of this water? That is the amount of upthrust applied on this body. Okay, we will verify this one and you will understand more. Okay, now see, there are two experiments for verification. We will go for both. Okay, and after this we will discuss principle of flotation. What is the principle that governs the flotation of solids, things, or the liquids? Okay, this time what we are taking one physical balance. Okay, for example, this is our physical balance. Okay, left, right pan. Okay, now what we are taking two cylinders of the same volume. Okay, two cylinders of the same volume. Okay, one more. Okay, this is our B cylinder, this is our A. Okay, okay, make it a little bit more bigger. Okay. So what we are doing, we took the physical balance, two cylinders we suspended on the left side. Okay, B cylinder, A cylinder, both are having same volume, both are having same volume. A is a solid cylinder, it is a solid cylinder, and this is hollow cylinder. Okay, so whatever amount of liquid it can hold is equal to the volume of this solid A. Okay, whatever amount of liquid this hollow cylinder can hold is equal to the volume of this solid A. Okay, this cylinder A. This is clear. Now what we do? First we put some weights and we balance the physical balance. Now it is balanced. Okay. Now we take one beaker filled with water and immerse this solid A completely inside water. It is completely immersed inside the water or any liquid you take. Okay. So it is completely immersed in, I'm taking here water. Okay. It is completely immersed in water. So what happens? It applies upthrust and it tilts. So there will be some loss in weight because some upward force will be applied by the liquid. So it will tilt. This will be the position now. It will tilt. It will tilt. Now what we do? We start to fill this hollow cylinder with water. And this hollow cylinder will hold same amount of water. What is the volume of this solid? Okay. As we fill this cylinder, hollow cylinder, it again starts to balance. And when it is completely filled, this hollow cylinder is completely filled with water, it balances again. So see here what is happening. So what is happening? First, when we are immersing the solid inside the liquid, it displaces the water equivalent to its volume. It displaces the water equivalent to its volume. And upthrust is there. Because of thrust, it tilts towards right side. Okay. Now, as we fill the water in cylinder B, it will hold the same amount of water displaced by this solid. This cylinder B will hold the same amount of water which has been displaced by cylinder A. So, same amount of water is being, when it is being filled, it balances again. It means the weight, the upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by cylinder A. Weight of the liquid displaced by cylinder A. Upthrust is equal to the weight of the cylinder, weight of the liquid displaced by cylinder A. Have you understood this one? Any doubt here? So whatever amount of water this cylinder has removed, we filled in cylinder B. And this is how it balances again. It means upthrust is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the cylinder A. Okay. Second experiment, take the spring balance. Okay, spring balance is okay. Take the spring balance, take some weight, let its reading be 300 GF, ground force. Its weight is 300 gram force. Okay, this spring balance is showing weight of 300 gram force for this weight. Okay, some weight we have taken. Now, immerse this solid in water. So in air, its weight is how much? 300 gram force. Now, as we immerse it in water, okay, 1 minute before immersing, we have to do one more thing. Okay. So now what we do? We take one Eureka can. Eureka can, you know, on the side it has a spout. One hole is there. So we fill it with water up to the spout. Okay, we fill it with water. Now immerse this solid inside this water. We must 1 minute. This solid is completely immersed. So as it get immersed, water starts to flow through the spout, and we have collected this water in measuring cylinder. Okay, and it measures around 100 ml. And now its reading we note, it comes out to be 200 GF. So what we are doing initially, we suspended it in air. Its reading was 300 GF, that is gram force. So weight in air is 300 gram force. Now, when we suspended it in liquid, we immersed the solid in liquid. The liquid from the Eureka cave flows in the measuring cylinder, and it comes out to be 100 ml. This water volume comes out to be 100 ml. Okay, this is same volume of water being displaced by this solid. Okay, and this is same as the volume of the solid. Okay, now we have to calculate weight of this liquid displaced, weight of this water displaced. So weight is what? Density will know. Density of water is how much? 1 gram per centimeter cube. Weight we have to know. Okay. So mass equal to density into volume. Mass is density into volume. So weight here will be 100 ml volume into density 1 gram. This will be the mass of the liquid. Okay, 100 ml into 1 gram per, it will be 100 grams. And its weight will be how much? 100 gram force. Its weight will be how much? 100 gram force. This is mass. So we calculated the mass 100 ml into 1 gram per centimeter cube. Okay, 100 gram. It will be 100 GF. 1 ml is how much? 1 centimeter cube. 1 ml is how much? 1 centimeter cube. So mass comes out to be 100 gram. Now weight will be into, we can put GF. Okay, 100 GF. This is clear? When we multiply with acceleration due to gravity, we can write simply GF, gram force. So weight is how much? 100 gram force. As well, you can see in the reading, weight in the air was 100 GF. When it was immersed, spring balance was showing 200 GF. So difference you can see 100 GF. That is because of the weight of the liquid displaced. So upthrust that is being applied is same as the weight of the liquid displaced. Understood this one? So all you have to remember is that according to Archimedes principle, when a body is immersed, either partially or completely, the upthrust force, the upward force will be equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by it. Weight of the liquid displaced by it. See? Now we discuss principle of flotation. Now we'll be discussing principle of flotation. Okay. So till now what we have discussed, okay, liquid we have, a body is immersed in it. For example, this is the body, okay. So which all forces are acting on this body? One is the weight from the center of gravity. Consider this as the center of gravity. Weight acts along the center of gravity. This will be our weight of the body. And buoyant force, that is upward force, upthrust will be acting at the center of buoyancy in the upward direction. So center of buoyancy will be what? This is the water displaced. So center of buoyancy of the displaced liquid. Center of buoyancy will be the center of gravity of the displaced liquid. So center of gravity of the displaced liquid will be here. It will be here. So it will be acting here. So they will be just vertically below. Center of buoyancy is just vertically below the center of gravity of the solid. This is the center of gravity of the liquid. This is the center of gravity of the liquid. That is called as center of buoyancy. And this is blue dot. This is center of gravity of the solid. You can see. So buoyancy force, upward force, the upthrust acts on the center of gravity of the displaced liquid. That is center of buoyancy. And center of gravity of the solid, it will be the center of the gravity of the solid. Understood? So buoyant force, it is in upward direction, FB, and weight is in downward direction. So whatever the relation between FB and W, so whichever is greater, whichever is less, and that will define the floating of this body. Whether the body will float or not will depend on the magnitude of these two forces. Or the resultant force will be in downward direction or the upward direction or zero. Okay, we'll be discussing now. So first I write weight of the body. Weight of the body is how much? W, we have denoted with W. And so weight is how much? Let its volume be V. Okay. V, let it be the volume of, okay. And rho or rho S is, it has taken. Okay. 1 minute. Rho S or rho. Okay. V, volume of the body, into density of body into acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so I can write just here body. So weight of the body is how much? Volume of the body multiplied with density of the body into acceleration due to gravity. This is weight of the body. And what will be the upthrust? Upthrust will be how much? Volume of the liquid displaced. Volume of the liquid displaced into density of liquid into acceleration due to gravity. Into acceleration due to gravity. This is clear? So weight of the body, volume of the body into density of the body into acceleration due to gravity. Buoyant force, upward force, upthrust, FB, it will be volume of the liquid displaced into density of the liquid into acceleration due to gravity. Now we'll be taking three cases. So case first. Case first, when weight is more than FB, more than or less than, it has taken first. Weight is more than, okay. Weight is more than maximum buoyant force. So maximum buoyant force we have already discussed. That is when the body is completely immersed inside the body. That is the maximum buoyant force that a liquid can exert. It will be the maximum upthrust, upward force that the liquid can exert. That is FB dash. Okay. So when weight is greater than maximum buoyant force, the liquid can exert. At that moment, what will happen? See here, weight in this direction, FB dash. Oh, 1 minute. Weight in downward direction, buoyant force, maximum buoyant force in upward direction. Okay. Here weight is more than maximum buoyant force. It means resultant will be in which direction? Resultant will be in this direction, downward direction. Resultant force will be in downward direction since weight is more than buoyant force, maximum buoyant force the liquid can exert. So resultant force will be how much? Net force. W minus FB dash. This will be the net force in downward direction. So what will happen to the solid? As we immerse the solid in the liquid, what will happen? It will sink. It will sink since there is a net force downward. That is, net force is W minus FB dash. Okay. Net force will be downward. And see here, this net force is the apparent weight. of the solid. Weight of the solid has decreased, and to how much it has decreased? W minus Fb dash. Initially its weight was W. That is the original weight of the solid. But as it is immersed in the liquid, its weight will be less. Its apparent weight, it will be W minus Fb dash. It will be W minus Fb dash. Weight has decreased by buoyant force. So this will we will experience this solid of less weight because of buoyant force. So its weight will be how much? Apparent weight will be W minus Fb dash. This is the weight, and with this force, it will be sinking down. With this force, it will be sinking down. Okay, and we can calculate acceleration as well. Mass of the body into acceleration. This is the resultant force with which it is moving down. Net force. That will be the net force. M into A equal to W minus Fb dash. Acceleration equal to W minus Fb dash upon M. So with this acceleration, body will be sinking. With this acceleration, the body will be sinking. So when weight of the body is greater than the maximum buoyant force the liquid can apply, the solid will sink. The solid will sink. With what acceleration it will sink? W minus Fb dash, that will be the net force downward. Net force. That will be the apparent weight divided by mass of the body. That will be the acceleration. Understood this one? Case first. Have you understood this one? One more thing I will derive here. Okay. When weight is greater than maximum buoyant force. So weight is what? Okay. I write it here. Weight equal to volume of the body, density of the solid into acceleration due to gravity. What is the maximum buoyant force? It displaces same volume of the body into density of the liquid into acceleration due to gravity. So when does the body sink? See here, volume is same, acceleration due to same, but rho s rho l. When density of the solid is greater than density of the liquid. When density of the solid is greater than density of the liquid, the body will sink. When density of the body is more than the density of the liquid, body will sink. This you understood? Because weight is more than Fb dash. Therefore, density of the solid is more than density of the liquid. Body will sink. You can write it as what is weight? V rho solid into G, that is body, is greater than Fb dash, that is V rho Lg. V and G get cancelled. Rho S is greater than rho L. That is density of the solid is greater than density of the liquid. So when density of the solid is greater than density of the liquid, the body sinks. This is clear? Are you there? Are you all there? Janvi is not getting admitted today. Okay. So first case first we have discussed, that is when weight of the body is greater than maximum buoyant force the liquid can exert. That is when density of the solid is greater than density of the liquid. The body will sink. If density of the solid is greater than density of the liquid, body will sink. So in that case, I will take 10 minutes extra. Okay, weight of the body is greater than maximum buoyant force the liquid can exert. That's case first. 3 cases we discussed, then we will end. Okay, now case second. When weight of the body is same as maximum buoyant force that it can exert. Okay. In that case, Second is equal to 1 equal to. Now see here, when weight of the body is same as the maximum buoyant force that can be exerted. In this case, liquid we have, the body will be submerged just below the surface. It will be floating just below the surface. It will be floating just below the surface. The body will be floating just below the surface. So weight downward direction, buoyant force in upward direction. Here as well it will be maximum buoyant force when they are equal. W equal to FB dash. So net force will be how much? Net force will be how much? FB dash in upward direction, weight in downward direction, and they are equal. So net force will be 0. Net force will be 0. That means the body will be weightless. The apparent weight of the body will be how much? It will be 0. It will be 0. No weight, no force downward. It will float as such. It will float just below the surface. It will float just below the surface. So here, see what is happening here. FB dash equal to weight. They are equal in this case second. So when they are equal, FB dash is V into density of the liquid into G. Here it V rho solid into G. V and G get cancelled. Rho L equal to rho G. So when density of the solid is same as density of the liquid, when density of the solid is same as density of the liquid, the body will just float below the surface. Body will just float below the surface. This you understood? Now case third. Case third, when weight is less than maximum buoyant force. When weight is less than maximum buoyant force. In this case, see what happens. We have already discussed, as body is getting immersed, buoyant force keeps on increasing. So when weight is less than buoyant force, maximum buoyant force. So maximum buoyant force, it will be in upward direction. Weight will be in downward direction. It means the net force will be in upward direction because FB dash, maximum buoyant force, is in upward direction, and by which body will be pulled up. So for example, I have placed one body, I pushed it inside the water. I pushed the body inside the water. Now I release my hand and it comes back to the surface and it stays or positions itself such that it positions itself in water such that the volume of the weight of the displaced liquid becomes equal to the weight of the body. Okay. In this case, what will be there? Maximum buoyant force or less buoyant force will be there. It will be less buoyant force because volume of the liquid displaced is less than the volume of the solid. So in this case, consider as the smaller v. Okay. So in this case, density of the solid, it will be less than the density of the liquid. When density of the solid is less than the density of the liquid, when density of the solid is less than the density of the liquid, the body floats. It floats such that it is partially inside and partially outside. It floats partially inside and partially outside. So part of the body will be submerged inside liquid and part of the body will be outside the body. And how much part will be inside, that will be decided depending on the density. See how? So it will float in the position where the buoyant force exerted by the liquid becomes equal to the weight of the liquid. So initially see here, as I have submerged it inside, completely as I have submerged, the buoyant force will be Fb dash. Maximum buoyant force, it is completely immersed. I am applying some force. As I remove the force, this body will start coming upward, outside the water. It will come outside the water. It is coming outside the water, and its buoyant force will keeps on decreasing till it becomes equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. So this buoyant force is decreasing till it becomes equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. When they becomes equal, it will no more coming out. It won't come out more. It will stay in this position. In this position, what will happen? The buoyant force will be same as the weight of the liquid. So apparent weight with net force will be 0. Net force here will be 0. It stays in position such that the weight of the body is balanced by the buoyant force. It becomes equal. In that position it stays. So it keeps on floating with some part above the water and some part below the water or the liquid. So net force will be 0. Apparent weight of the body will be 0. When body floats, its apparent weight is 0 because no net force is there. Net force is 0. Okay. So here, what will be the buoyant force? Fp will be the smaller v, that is volume of the submerged part of the body. That is the volume of the liquid displaced by the body into density of the liquid into acceleration due to gravity. This is same as weight of the body. So here, see here what happens. Smaller v into rho L into g equal to weight is how much? Capital V into density of solid into g. This is clear? This is volume of the liquid displaced or volume of the submerged part of the body. This V is complete volume. Weight of the body is volume into density of the solid into g. So for body to float, this relation must hold. For body to float, this relation must hold. Or see here, for body to float, the weight of the body must be equal to or less than the maximum buoyant force. This is the principle of flotation. So principle of flotation is weight of the floating body is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged part. So weight of the body is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the submerged part of the body, whether it is submerged partially or fully. So whatever weight of the liquid displaced must be same to the weight of the solid. Then the body will float. Okay. From this we can derive relation. So smaller v, it is the volume of the submerged part or volume of the liquid displaced into density of the liquid into acceleration due to gravity. It is same as weight of the liquid. Fb equal to W. W is what? Volume of the solid into density of the solid into G. G get cancelled. What we are having? V into rho L equal to capital V into rho S, or smaller v upon v equal to density of solid divided by the density of liquid. So what is this? Volume of the submerged part of the solid. Volume of the submerged part or volume of the liquid displaced. Volume of the submerged part or volume of the liquid displaced. Divided by, this is the volume of the solid. Equal to density of the solid divided by density of the liquid. So you can remember this one. Fb equal to W, V submerged part into density of the liquid into acceleration due to gravity. In buoyant force, always the density of the liquid will be there. Okay. In buoyant force, always density of the liquid, not the density of the solid. Okay. In weight, it will be weight is related to the solid. So volume of the solid, density of the solid. This is buoyant force is related to the liquid. It is the property of the liquid. Therefore, density of the liquid. V is the volume of the liquid displaced, and volume of the liquid displaced is same as volume of the solid submerged, what is under the liquid. So this for flotation, whenever body is floating, this formula will hold. Okay, this is the principle of flotation. So weight of the floating body is equal to the is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced, is equal to the weight of the liquid displaced. That is the bind force. This is principle of flotation. This is clear? Okay, next we'll discuss in next chapter. Next, okay, ice and flotation all we'll discuss in next chapter. Okay, just go through it. So page number 107. 5.7 is there, solid bodies with density rho greater than density rho L sink. Greater than density of liquid, they will sink. And less than or equal to, they will float. So, case first, body will sink. Case second and third, body will float. So when densities are equal, it will float just below the surface. When density of solid is less than density of the liquid, it floats submerged, partially submerged inside the liquid. Okay. And how much it must be submerged, it depends on how much is the difference between the densities. Okay, we'll be discussing this in next lecture. Okay, so first case it will sink, second case it will float. In second and third case, there is net force is zero, apparent weight of the body is zero. Okay, one more example I take. For example, well we have. Okay, you drop the bucket is filled with water. Okay, now you try to pull it outside the water. Okay, you have to apply less force. You have to apply less force because water is as well applying upward force. Therefore, you have to apply less force for taking out. But as soon as the bucket comes out of the water, no more bind force, no more upward force. You have to apply more force to take out the water, to take out the bucket. Have you understood this one? So here what happens when the bucket is inside
Yes.
the water, there is net force is less. Okay, the net force will be W minus FB dash. So the net downward force decreases. Therefore, you have to apply less force. But as it comes out of the water, only weight is there, no more bind force. So you have to apply the force equal to the weight of the water. More you have to apply than the weight of the water, weight of the bucket and water to take it out. Understood this one? So when our body is inside the water, its weight decreases, and that we call as apparent weight. Apparent weight will be how much? Original weight minus bind force. If it is completely immersed, okay, weight minus FB dash. When weight is greater than bind force. When the body is floating, it means there is no net force. Therefore, here apparent weight will be zero. Apparent weight will be zero when body is floating, either completely immersed or partially submerged. In these two cases, second and third case, apparent weight will be zero. Apparent weight will be zero. Okay. Since partially immersed, the bind force will balance the weight of the body. They become equal and the apparent weight will be zero. Here as well, apparent weight is zero. Here, maximum bind force balances the weight. Here, bind force less than the maximum bind force balances the weight. Since less submerged, less bind force. Okay, this is clear. Okay, next we'll discuss. Okay, 5.7, just go through it once afterwards. And if you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, two experiments are there. We can discuss it afterwards. Okay. Okay, there's one experiment. Okay, one more experiment only. We take iron nails. Iron nails, as we put it inside the water, it sinks because density of the iron nail is more than density of the water. So first case, it will sink. Now if we take the cork of the same mass, cork is having less density as compared to water. It is around 3/4 of the water. So what will happen? Less density, it will float. Third case, cork. It will float. It will float with partially submerged, partially outside the water. Because density of the cork is less than density of the water. Okay. Just go through it. And 5B we'll discuss in next lecture. Along with 5C, most of the 5C we have discussed, and you can go revise it. And those applications of the principle of flotation we will discuss in next lecture. Okay. Okay, thank you. Any doubt you have, you can ask. Okay, recording is there. Any doubt you have? Okay, just go through it once. If you have doubt, you can ask on Monday. Okay. Okay, then thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. If you
Thank
don't
you.
reply, sometimes it seems, are you there or not?